Welcome back, one all to more Trails in the Sky. Last time left off, we did a little bit of side questing in order to rack up some more funds, and we just finished one more side quest off screen, basically in order to rack up some more funds. The last one involves fishing, and well, not really going to the fishing mechanic of this game, so I don't really want to do that. So let's move on to the next location. Hey Estelle, heading out already? You just came back home, sure you can't stay around for a while? Yeah, sorry, there's kind of a lot going on. Once our current job's done, I totally intend to come back and take a load off for a while. You really should, we'll be waiting. Anyway, your tickets have already been paid for by Ina. Ready to check in? As always, blah blah blah, make sure we're done with our business. Let's fly. Alright then. I'll give the guild house a ring and call the other members of your team. Yeah, on the airship, like always. I see. So now we have a gospel influencing people's minds. Using the fog's particle matter as a medium to exert mental control over a large area. Well then, that settles one question at least. Excuse me, Professor. Cassius, you old dog, good timing. Escaped Livestream, did you? Yes, I finally managed to finish a bit of work. I thought I would stop by and see how you're holding up. What's this, a report from your granddaughter? Yes, just arrived, express from Roland. Thanks to Tita's reports, I'm quite certain of my theory now. About the gospel, I'm assuming? Yes, though it's ultimately still a hypothesis at this point. I've gone over it again and again, but both on paper and with Capel, though I'm reasonably sure of this. Shall I go over it? Absolutely. Alright then. So, what we've been calling the Gospel's orbital shutdown phenomena. Tell me, what do you think it is, based on what you've seen and heard? It's an effect that occurs in any orbital device located near an active Gospel, chaining from one device to another, and it renders these devices inert while a Gospel is active. That's how it seems to me, at least. Half right, half wrong. What you're describing is closer to the orbital art anticept. That shorts out the internal quartz circuits of an orbit and temporarily suspends its functionality. The phenomenon generated by the gospel, however, is fundamentally different. It steals all the orbital energy formed in an orbit, down to the very last joule. So it's more of an orbital absorption phenomenon then. Yes, to make a comparison to a combustion engine, it's like siphoning out the petrol. But wait, unless I badly misunderstood physics, that means the gospel should absorb and store all that power, correct? Good eye, lad. You've noticed a very important fact. So I've measured a gospel after it absorbs energy. The gospel does not actually hold any of it. Not even a single EP's worth. Is it possible the energy is being vented into the wider environment? No, not at all. The energy disappears completely, utterly, and quite impossibly thanks to thermodynamics. Furthermore, these new gospels Estelle's group have been encountering. Every time they encounter, they cause unbelievable phenomena that even our best orbital engineers can't explain. It's unclear how they're causing such effects, but I can say one thing with confidence, and that is, they're too small. I can say that absolutely certainly that any device enabling such massive efforts could not fit into the palm of one's hand. Even if society somehow possesses technology centuries ahead of our own, Nothing that small could contain that much potential energy. I think I'm starting to see where this is going. You're saying the gospel must be terminals then, access points of some sort. Exactly. The only function the gospel unit itself has is an ability to manifest an abnormal warp in a local orbital field. That warp then resonates with any local orbital devices, expands and draws energy from the devices. The energy then disappears through the warp. Well, no, it does not disappear. It is sent elsewhere. And wherever it's located elsewhere is capable of causing the impossible effects we've seen. You know, I hope I'm misunderstanding this. I'm afraid you get a passing grade here, old friend. The society can use gospels to draw out and spread power of whatever this is. Spreading the influence of a mysterious force. The one society calls them gospels. In that case, the nature of this thing bothers me. As you said, even if an ornament out of our own purest fiction, or as far as that goes, I'm afraid I have no clue. I thought of a number of possibilities, but that would be pure speculation at this point. Now, Cassius, I would ask you the same question I asked you 10 years ago. We're in quite the pickle. What do you need me to do? The exact same words as when I asked you to develop the patrol airship. Well then. The key, I think, must lie in this warp the Gospels create. Russell, can you develop some kind of plan or method of stopping the resonance, the spread? Heh, thought you'd ask that. I'm just about done with my current invention anyway. I'll get to work on it as soon as I'm done with that. Well, now we know how the Gospels work, and it is not very it's not very fun at all. No, sirree, Bob. Well, time to do what we always do and wander the heck out of this ship. Ah, Stell, at last we return to Boast, the land laden with memories of our first meeting. It makes my heart swell to return to a place of such nostalgia. Shocking as it may be, I kind of have to agree with the heart-swelling memories bit. Although, as I remember, you were kind of rude back then. You said I wasn't attractive and made fun of me like a schoolboy. You must understand, my fair Rose. I would only display such cute bashful behavior in order to hide feelings of love unabated. Yeah, I'll bet that's it exactly. You sure didn't waste any time putting the moves on Scara, as I remember, Arch Joshua. Well, putting that aside, as you stand now, your beauty is uncomparable to what it was then. Yours is a supple, healthy beauty with a maiden's gentle virtue. Indeed, you have grown, Estelle. Thank you? Though, when you put it that way, it's kind of embarrassing. Please don't say it like that again. There's no shame to be had in a virtue, Estelle. Still, you have but only begun to climb the ladder of adulthood. Should you wish to ascend even higher, I'll be more than happy to assist you. Oh dear God, isn't she like 16? No, thank you. If I was ever in a position to ask anyone about that sort of thing, I'd be a million times better off asking Scara. Aw, a pity, the things I could teach. Though Scara would be the one too. I don't know. That fucking face. That fucking face. I'll remind you that I have a very large stick. That entire conversation was freaking priceless. Hello, Estelle. Hi, Scara. So this is where you went. Oh wait, do you want to be alone for a bit? This is unlike you, Estelle. Why so reserved? You want to ask me about Lucy, right? Yeah. She says we met a long time ago, but I don't remember her at all. I was wondering what she's like, if you could jog my memory. Let's see, where to begin then? We have to begin at her stage name, I suppose. Luciola, the Bewitching Belle. She could show her audience illusions by dancing while using the bells and fans, thus bewitching them, you see. Hers was a centerpiece performance of our little circus troupe, the one that really brought the audiences in. Illusions. Does she use an orbit to make them? No, she used something she always called illusion magic, which is apparently some kind of old non-orbal art. Luciola was from a family with the tradition of working that art. Was? People who fall in with the traveling circus like ours tend to be one of two kinds. People who had a cause to abandon their previous homes and families, or people who never had such things to begin with. Luciola was the former, and I was the latter. I was about 7 years old when Mr. Harvey and his band took me in. Back then, I was a little more than a street urchin living in the slums of the city. Pickpocketing, petty theft, there was little I wouldn't do to survive. The ones who reached out a hand to me were the troop's leader, Mr. Harvey, and Luciola. They taught me, the little girl who couldn't trust anyone, the warmth of a family. And they taught me all sorts of skills that would let me learn a place for myself in the troop. Dancing, beast handling, tarot reading, Luciola taught me all of it. But then 8 years ago, Mr. Harvey died in an accident. Without his leadership, we all just drifted apart and went our own ways. I had been planning on staying with Luciola, but soon after Mr. Harvey died, she simply told me there is something I must do and vanished. Hopeless and lost for the first time in years, I turned to the one remaining man in the world whom I still trusted. And you suspect that was Cassius, who had already begun working as a bracer. You know the rest, I imagine. So that's what happened. I had no idea you'd gone through something like that. The reason I aimed to become a bracer at first was to improve myself. I wanted to be able to live and prosper on my own, show Luciola just how far I had come once she returned. But, well, it has been 8 years. Perhaps that was enough time to re-examine my reasons. Sierra, now don't make that face. Like Zen said, I don't intend to simply fight her without saying a word. I want to hear Luciola's story from her before doing anything. I have to know what possible reason she could have for making her association with society. Yeah, that sounds good. I've got your back, Sierra. I'll do anything I can to help. I know I can always count on you. Still, you've grown quite a bit, haven't you, Estelle? What? That's kind of sudden. I always thought of you as exactly what I expect from Cassius's daughter. I don't think that's quite right or fair anymore, though. What do you mean? Your strength isn't quite the same as Cassius's. Cassius has a heart as deep as the ocean and strength like a relentless wave. But you, Estelle, your strength is like the sun. You shine and make others shine just by being near them. What? My Estelle, you shine like the sun. I think that's why people are attracted to you so easily. That's what I like the most about you. And I know Joshua feels the same way. I don't think you need to feel any pressure to live up to Cassius is my point. Yeah, you really are my big sister, Sierra. You always know how to encourage me, thanks. You're very welcome. Not saying you should return the favor, mine, but you really should drink with me sometime. Now that you're a full bracer, you'd better learn to handle your liquor. How is booze related to, you know what? Never mind, I don't want to know. Look how that point of conversation always seems to come up with these two. Oh, hi, Estelle. Still walking around? Yeah, sorta. Oh, Tita, is this your first time in Bose, isn't it? Uh-huh. I've heard there's a really big store in Bose, so I kinda want to see it. The Bose Market, yeah. Think of it like the department store in Groundsel, but even bigger. It's actually a bunch of different stores all in one space. It's really busy. Wow, that sounds amazing. I hope we arrive in Bose soon. Tita, as always, pretty simple, but also sweet moments between the two. Hey, something wrong, Agate? It's nothing. You're still wandering around the ship? Yeah, basically. Oh, you're from Raven in the Bose region, right? This will be your first time back home in a while, then. It's been a little while, yeah. I did stop by the old place after the Queen's birthday celebration a while back, though. But hey, wait a second. Why are you assuming I'm going back home? Well, don't be so embarrassed, you big teddy bear. got a little sister back in Reverend, right? You mentioned her once. You really are a big softy when it comes to her, huh? Hey. Oh yeah, where the heck is Reverend? Where the heck is Reverend is your house? Reverend is your house anyway. I don't remember meeting any girl who stood out as August's little sister when we were investigating the Sky Pirates. There was a little girl with Loey, but no, too young, and I figure your little sister's gotta have your hair. I'll introduce you to Misha soon. Assuming we have some reason to visit anyway. Yeah, please do. And in that case, I'll have to bring Tita along too. Why would we have to do that? Tita's kind of attached to you in case you haven't noticed. She'd be pretty let down if you didn't introduce her to your sister, you know. Oh, I get it. You don't want Misha and Tita to meet, What? Now I get it. They might get together and get in all lots of troubles like Tita did with Renee, or they might get jealous of each other. Being an older brother must be hard work. That's not what you meant. Huh? Well, don't worry, I'll clean up any mess that happens. I happen to be pretty good at Tita hurting. So you just go ahead and introduce those two crazy kids, and I'll make sure nothing blows up. Yeah, thanks. I'll be counting on you for that. Considering it's Tita, and she's basically an orbital genius, blowing up is basically her thing. Or blowing things up. They're almost hiding in the ship's hold again. Like Olivier on his cell phone. Estelle out for a walk again? More or less. More importantly, I'm sorry. I didn't really open up about Joshua until the very end. Don't worry. Still, that girl with Joshua's one of the Sky Powers, isn't she? Yeah, she's a cheeky, insulting little punk by the name of Josette Capua. She's also the single biggest tomboy I've ever laid my eyes on, and people call me a tomboy sometimes. I see. She does, have a bit of... does seem a bit charming from the photograph. She can be pretty cute if she keeps her mouth shut. And she did manage to play a perfect upper crust girl when we first met her, too. I'm sorry. I see. So that's impressively dexterous, if I may say so. Well, it does make sense since she's apparently former Obonian nobility. Putting on a face like that is her specialty, I think. Peel away the layers, though, and like I said, at the core, she's a cheeky, classless little punk. Still, from what I've heard, I can't really find cause to hate her. I suspect that if we found a chance to talk, we might have quite a lot in common. Yeah, I can't see that happening. Well, we slide off each other like oil and water. Our personalities wouldn't fit together, trust me. Maybe. Oh, Chloe, you were put to sleep with us back there. Did you have any sort of dream? I did. It was during the 100 Days War. During the war. Oh, I see. That's when you were with Matron Teresa. Yes, I was in the care of Matron Teresa during the fighting. We lived together for some time. And what's wrong? It's just even though it was 10 years ago, Clem and Jill both showed up. If I had stayed in that dream long enough, perhaps even you and Joshua might have appeared. Well, that's a dream for you. Coherence is not guaranteed. Yeah. Really, in hindsight, it was a little frightening. Huh? In the dream, I was happy. Very, very happy. I wanted everything to stay that way from the bottom of my heart. But that isn't right, is it? Simply wishing to escape reality in that way? Yeah, I know what you mean. It's always nice to have a happy dream, sure. But yeah, if you asked if I wanted to see that dream again, I'd be a little hesitant. Yeah, the dangers of the gospel. I feel like we've gotten a real hint of them. Oh, Estelle, good work this time. You're really growing as a bracer. Yeah, I'm still kind of a newbie, I think. Like, I'm not even remotely as good as the staff as my dad. Well, I don't think you should worry about Master Cassius much. An S-rank bracer is a master of their profession to a degree that they attain the unity of purpose all martial artists seek, after all. To be honest, I don't think I could attain such enlightenment even if I spent my entire life trying. Oh, I see. I gotta admit, it's kinda hard for me to understand how incredible my dad is, but actually, Zen, you mentioned the whole unity of purpose idea to Chloe back at the castle. What does that mean exactly? Yeah, I did. It's kind of tough to explain, to be honest. Well, here it goes. Master Cassius was once such a transcendent master of the sword, he was given the title Divine Blade. Today, though, he can wield his staff just as easily as the sword he spent his whole life training with. Why do you think that is? He practiced really hard? That's part of it, sure. But more than that, it's because he could he instantly understood and related the nature of the staff combat to his previous experience. Something beyond what we call skill, above practicing forms and reflexes, above muscle memory. Think of it as a mental state where one can grasp the true nature of things and control them at will. The whole concept is what we refer to as unity of purpose. The true nature of all things, huh? His plan to push back the Imperial Army during the war was the same, I bet. He understood the nature of the war of combat so instinctively that he was able to construct the plan he did. There would be no one more fearsome as a foe. I get it, I think. But that means that even my supposedly enlightened dad was beaten in some ways by the society. During the coup, he was lured out by the country for starters. Yeah, they almost certainly possess someone equal to Master Cassius. It's hard to know if it's whoever Loey or this professor, though. Could it be the guy we know as Lawrence? He was pretty powerful. I don't know. He's incredibly skilled, sure, but I doubt he can match up to Master Cassius. Besides, his ki, his soul, they did not have the unity of purpose, not in the way I have spoken of. He is a blade, sharpened in one specific way by the coldest frost, tempered to perfection, untouched by anyone. That's the sense I got from him in the arena, at least. Yeah, I get what you mean. He hasn't shown himself, but I figure he's got to be up to something. He did seem to have some kind of fixation on Joshua. I wouldn't be surprised if they knew each other from Joshua's days in society. Between him, me, and Scarazard, we've all got a strange ties to our past in this group. I wonder if this is the guidance of she who dwells above. That reminds me, Zen, you were put to sleep the rest of us. Did you see a dream of some sort? When that happened? Yes, it was a dream of my days at the dojo. It made me realize that Kilika hasn't changed much over the years to start with. Even in the dreams, I had to laugh at that. So Kilika's always been, like that? Yes, like that's a good way to put it. I always thought it was unbelievable that she and Walter, of all people, had gotten to... What? I'll slip it in my mouth! Don't bring that up! Sorry, forget that, please. Okay, so Kilika and Walter, that was a thing. I kind of wonder what would happen if we took Agate or the others with us. I'm not gonna go through the whole game just for that scene on that boss fight again. So yeah, let's ignore that. Have to go back to our seats and all that crud.